now on 3AW 693. This is The Weekend Break with Peter Grubby Stubbs.
Well, good afternoon to you and welcome. Welcome to this. What a beautiful scene I have in front of me. There is a sea of black and white. I'm the only person in pastels here. I need a cap. It's sunny. It's windy. Thank you, Darren James and team. What a magnificent job. Lovely to see Darren. Lovely to see Alice, who once again sang the song yesterday as the 4-year-old. It's my favourite part of the grand final, apart from when the Swans were winning. However, congratulations to Collingwood. We are here for one big show. Plenty coming up. I'm going to talk to Theo Zagrafos from the Monash Council. He's a big Collingwood supporter. I would love your calls. We're going to talk to little Paddy about a great show coming up in the next few weeks. Luke Dennehy is here. He's got something to talk about at 1:30. Wendy Hargraves on the road again, of course. Planes, Trains, No Automobiles at 3. Justin Jamison at 4. Billy Pennell, plenty to talk about. But mainly Paul Marrick with motoring, of course. I would love your calls right throughout the day. 133 693. Get on the blower and tell me how you're feeling. Look, those of us who haven't experienced a grand final win, there are some who haven't, but some who have. How are you feeling, Collingwood supporters? I'm not one of you. I recognise that. The only cap I had in the car was a Swans cap, and I couldn't wear that here for fear of my life. But I'm here, and so good to have your company. It's terrific. Got all the gang. We've got a fantastic position. We're right along Olympic Boulevard, overlooking the whole oval where there is just so many people queuing up for this and queuing up for that. The vibe is good. There's kids everywhere, and it was some grand final. I must admit, when your team's in it, it's impossible to know what sort of a game it is. When your team's not in it, you can look at a grand final objectively and say, yeah, that was really something. Now, my team was in it last year. It was an awful grand final, but it was awful for people who were just thinking, oh, yeah, I'll roll up and see the grand final. This should be good. It was awful. But this year, as I've told a couple of Collingwood supporters already, listen, don't worry about it. That was a fantastic game of football. I would say probably just about the best of the modern era. Up there was 2012, being a bit biased there, but that was some grand final. Because I remember that day, like yesterday, and coming away with the Swans win and leaving and thinking, I think that was a good game. And then people saying, oh, yeah, that was a really good game. That was what yesterday was like. It was sensational. So your calls, 133 693. We'd love to talk to you. Jackie Reed's here. We might get a few, comments from punters just walking around quietly here, lining up for food. But it's a great atmosphere. Just terrific to be here. You wouldn't want to be anywhere else in Melbourne today than right down here. So we'll still be talking grand finals. Plenty on the show. Just all the normal stuff, of course. Have I got Theo Zagrafos on the blower? Is he with me at the moment? He is. Theo, good afternoon to you. And as a friend of the show, welcome to the Weekend Break, my friend.
Hello, Grub. You great man. It is an amazing day. Amazing day.
So where were you yesterday, Theo?
Well, I started my day at 7 a.m. I went to the North Melbourne breakfast. And then
tell us about that, because it's the North Melbourne breakfast. Now, I know it's been going 57 years or something. Is it the same sort of vibe as it always was? Because it was a massive thing, and everyone was there, and there are so many other breakfasts and occasions and everything else nowadays. How big was it?
Look, I've been twice before some years ago. It's big. It's their major fundraiser. All the honchos are in the room. The PM, the opposition leader, Gill and Dills and the rest. But for me, I couldn't wait to get to the G. I could not wait to get to the G. So that's where my head was at. And I got there as soon as I could right afterwards.
Now, Sonia Hood, who is the president of the North Melbourne Club and a superb person, in my opinion.
A very funny person.
I know where she gets her sense of humour from, because her father taught me at school. And John Hood, an outstanding man, was a wonderful at English literature, and he studied different languages and the Indian culture and so on. He's a wonderful man, and probably my favourite teacher I'd ever had. And, of course, I remember when Sonia was born, and all those years ago. And I'm glad she's inherited his humour because apparently she had some of the great lines yesterday.
She was definitely the funniest person. I mean, the others came close. The Prime Minister was quite funny. Peter Dutton tried to crack a few. I don't think he was on the right form.
He's just not a jokey guy. Did Albo have the upper hand on him?
Yeah. Albo had the tactic of surprise. No one saw it coming.
Okay. So he was what you're calling Albo a sniper, Theo. Is that what you're calling him?
It was one of those days where you can get away with those sort of things.
He crept up on somebody and gave him a bit of a crunch. What were some of the lines that he dropped on Dutton?
He made reference to a line that Peter Dutton mentioned a few years back about the safety of people going out to dinner.
Yes,
and of course, I can attest that it was quite unsafe last night for a few hours as I was walking from the G to the Vitality Centre. But Albo was quite on point, and of course, it was quite a big night for all the Collingwood Army across Melbourne.
Yeah, fantastic. What's your connection with the club?
I'm just a member. I'm a social club member. My father was a supporter, so he got us all, on the bandwagon right out of as we were born. So I've been, a huge supporter. I never have been to a grand final before. So this was my first granny, and it was amazing. Obviously, very lucky to get a ticket. And, I think the whole day was just superb. Everyone involved, both teams, brought their best game. Kiss were amazing. I'm a huge Kiss fan as well, so I was very, very lucky to see the guitar broken there at the end by Paul Stanley. It was a bit, I have to say, the fireworks huge, but they lingered for a bit afterwards for about 15 or so minutes.
Yeah, but I mean, look, the fireworks had to be big because it was daylight, and I mean, this is going to bring up that age-old discussion. You know how we discuss things every year and then they go away again. First of all, we had the ticketing fiasco. Okay, that's discussed every year. It'll go away again. It'll be back next year. Australia Day will roll around. We'll have changing the date. Then that'll go away, and then we'll roll around and do it again next year. The other thing is the night grand final versus the day grand final. We traditionalists love a day grand final, but we all know that Kiss would have looked a lot better with the fireworks and everything at night. I mean, that's obvious. And they probably wouldn't have had to let so many off to, darken the skies as they did if it indeed was at night. But I thought, Theo, I don't know what it was like there because I was watching on the TV. I thought they were pretty sensational. In fact, I was watching it with my 9-year-old granddaughter, and I said to her, Lila, what's your vibe on a bunch of guys older than your pa in that sort of makeup and get up, getting around like that? And she said, actually, not bad, pa, not bad. And
I've seen a photo of you in similar uniform. We won't get to that now, but
different topic, different day.
But when Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley retire, there's actually a young Kiss Army coming up through the ranks that could actually, take their place. Those few hundred people that were dancing on the ground did a pretty good job as well, I thought.
I love the kids. I love the kids. Yeah. And the thing I loved about Kiss, and I've seen people on Facebook saying, oh, look, they were not musical, or this or that. They're all musicians. I said, well, they were entertaining. You've got to get someone who's going to do the grand final has to have the E gene, the entertaining gene. Like Robbie Williams had it in spades. I mean, he was wonderful last year for a Swan supporter. Best thing about the grand final, Robbie saved the day for me.
Yeah.
But I thought Kiss were fun. They sent themselves up. They sang the 3 songs that everybody wanted them to sing. And I know it was from 1975, and my 39-year-old son was saying, do you reckon we could do better than this? I thought, well, yeah, could we? And, I mean, Crowded House pulled out, but I love Crowded House. I think Neil Finn's a genius. But their songs are kind of in a bit of a minor key, Don't Dream It's Over and all of that. Kiss came out and just rocked, and everyone sang along. I just thought it was good fun.
it hit the tempo, didn't it? And they're pros. They were, I thought, quite gracious, and I think they sort of, were appreciative that they were there as well, because it's great promotion for them as well. Obviously, they were getting paid a golden bonanza as well.
Yeah. Nice little learner.
The feedback. I mean, straight away from the first sound when they started playing, the feedback was from everyone around me was that this was going great. Like, this was just right on point.
Oh, yeah. As soon as they kicked in, because I had a discussion with a few friends and we thought, you know what, Kiss could be a Meatloaf moment. Moment. It's just, bunch of blokes in 70s makeup, hot day, makeup running. Not sure about all that. But the fears were put to rest from the first note, I reckon. I felt entertained and I had a smile on my face watching it. And I wasn't at the game, but that's how I felt watching. What were people's thoughts? Give us a ring, 133 693. So, have you been to bed yet, Theo?
Look, I made the decision to leave at about midnight. I went to the Vitality Centre after I had a few drinks at the G after the game.
Yeah.
And I bumped into my former colleague, Steve Demopoulos, who's the sports minister these days. And he's a Carlton supporter and, was very, very gracious and said, amazing work, everything across from the game to the pre-game to the after party, all fantastic. But you know what? It's still so surreal, Grubby. I haven't really grasped it yet. I think, the fact that I've experienced as a supporter a Collingwood premiership. When Darcy Moore was celebrating after the game, I was sitting on level 2 and he came up with the premiership cup. And I've got that photo now for the rest of my life. You know what? I kissed a stranger next to me at the prelim last week.
Yeah.
Some poor guy. And I made sure this week I was sitting next to a young, attractive woman. But I also got to, you're not going to believe this, at about, I don't know, might have been throughout the third quarter, went and got a drink in the Dean Jones bar. And there was this young boy with a little Collingwood football just sort of kicking it around with his sister. And there was a lady, not too far away. And he sort of kicked it and it sort of went away and it came to me and I sort of handballed it back to him. And then we sort of just played a little bit whilst I was getting my drink. Turns out that was Jeremy Howe's son. Xander, and his wife and family were sort of sitting in that vicinity. So it was just all surreal. It was all happening. Taylor Adams walked past at some point as well. Obviously very unlucky not to be playing.
Sure.
And as a supporter, these are the memories that I'll cherish for a very, very long time.
Yeah. No, it looked good. It looked good for you. I mean, it's anyone but Collingwood and all of that sort of stuff. It's great because those of us who know what it feels like, especially in the modern era, it's a great feeling. And I saw Darren James, who's having his tattoos photographed at the moment on his magnificent set of calves, Daz. Looking a million. He's having his photograph and his daughter Alice up here as well, which is just lovely.
There's heaps of space. There's heaps of space though for future, additions after the next premiership next year, isn't there, Grub?
Yeah, absolutely.
For new tats.
Plenty of space on his calves. Yeah, who knows? Hey, listen, you were 16th 2 years ago. You could be back again. Theo Zagrafis, always a great pleasure talking to you on the weekend break, as you know. Great friend of the show, Monash City Councillor and an AZ banker, and I don't mean that in the rhyming slang sense. Always pleasure to have a chat to you, mate. And enjoy your time, Theo. Good on you. So Theo Zagrafis, happy as. And why wouldn't you be? Where are you at the moment? What are you doing? Give us a ring, 133 693. It's your show. This is the weekend break. But we've got to reflect on what happened in Melbourne yesterday, and that's what's happening today down here at the AIA Vitality Centre. I think Daz called it the Holden Centre, really, but he's old school, and that's fine. We get that. He's hysterical. I'm a little bit more sober than him, or in the real sense of the word. Jackie Reed's going to be doing some crosses for us a little bit later as well, but would love your calls. Ring up and say good day. The weekend break, 133 693. Your call's next.